And then I'm giving just a 30 seconds intro, Dankeschön, a 30 seconds intro into the next panel and why it's so important. A few months back, Alex approached me and we're doing digital outsourcing, and he said, oh, Daniel, we need to do something with the topic of bid management because there's so much going on right now and there's so much potential and we cannot grasp it. And he started to explain me, what is bid management? What's the meaning of that? And I was like, what? Why? CPC, CPA, whatever? I kind of get it now. But the best thing is, we invited experts to explain everything to you from Spain, from Berlin, from Amsterdam, from Hamburg. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I have the honor, or we have the honor to host the last panel of the day before everything's keeping up for the party. I might introduce you Estefania from Ibiza, André from Amsterdam, and Artem from Berlin. Please introduce yourself. Just quick, 10 seconds. Who are you and what are you doing?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Estefania Livi from Mirai. I'm a sales manager, and well, we do help hoteliers increase direct sales through the official website. So we offer a booking engine, direct channel strategy, digital marketing campaigns, meta search, and so on. So, welcome.
Hey, I'm André. I'm from Hotelchamp in Amsterdam. I lead the commercial teams, and we're helping hoteliers to be closer to their guests. Everything a hotelier needs to bring their marketing to life and be then closer to their guests in the long run.
Artem.
Yep. Hi, my name is Artem. I'm an account lead at Koddi. Koddi is a marketing technology platform for campaign management and budget distribution across meta search channels.
Thank you for having you all here. Actually, Daniel introduced the topic not completely right, because we are not talking about bid management, we are not talking about meta search, but we are talking about direct sales. Estefania, the first question to you. How important is technology to increase my direct sales quota?
Well, technology, of course, it is important, but we think that in order to have a good direct strategy, hotels need to cover 3 main fields, which are, of course, technology, including official website, booking engine, meta search platform, of course, but also to have very good distribution strategy first, as a first step, I would say, and then digital marketing campaigns, of course, which it's going to help a hotel to increase visibility. So.
Yeah, we discussed this a little bit already in our talk before, but I think it's like even us saying this, it's not maybe just technology first, but it's one, bring your team together, revenue and marketing have to work together right now to launch the right campaigns, but then also market these campaigns, to have the right rates, to market the right rates. I think this is the pure basic. And then hoteliers are just like overwhelmed with all the technology out there. And then it's again just to bring the basics in place of your website and IBE. And then you can look at, okay, how does now my direct channel actually perform? And what do I need to do to bring more people over that channel into my hotel?
Technology is also one column, but the other column is actually data. Koddi is using a lot of data. Using the right data is actually crucial for successful direct sales. How can partners like Koddi can help to manage the amount of data? How can your companies help the hoteliers or the agency to really sort out the right data?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Alex. And I think the majority of the hotels, they tend to go to OTAs just because to have everything set up and drive direct sales is a very complex process. It requires a lot of investment and it requires a lot of resources. And then I think when hotels start managing their own campaigns, they sometimes do not know how to manage them efficiently. What we do with Koddi, we work with top hotel brands, and we collect all of the market data. We see where market is shifting. We see what is happening and how users are behaving. And then what we can do working with the specific hotels, we can then use that data and we can guide them into what we see in the market, where the users are now searching. If we see a big shift towards the mobile, and this is what started happening specifically right in the 2020 March, April, we saw there was a huge increase in mobile traffic, and then users were just completely on mobile, and then hotels who were not ready, hotels who did not have their bids, who did not run effective campaigns on mobile, they were just missing out on the bookings. And luckily for them, there was an OTA on the side, and then they were able to kind of capture some of that market, some of that revenue that the users were ready to pay. But again, marketing partners like us, marketing partners like Hotelchamp and Mirai, I think we have that data and we can help you guide and make the right decisions based on what we see in the market and how users are behaving.
Yeah. And of course, what you guys doing is can go from an okay level to super complex, right? Yep. But to boil it down, you said before that actually demand you have then towards the direct channel is way higher already now than it was 2019. And I think this is exactly that shift in behavior we see also now from the guests. One, they go more on mobile, cool, yep. Check. Second is they go more over not just straight the OTA anymore, but for example, I drove from Poland to the Netherlands. You can do it in one stretch. So I was looking for a hotel. And normally I would first go on Booking.com, then of course Book Direct. But I didn't go first on Booking.com, I went to Google Maps. So Google Maps was my first channel to search, and then I actually booked over Google. Yep. So, and this is also this demand increase you see, which comes over Meta, because this channel is a new way for guests to search, discover, and then also book. And then it comes, of course, to visibility. When you have the basics in place, when you understand the data, like where guests coming from, why are looking at these channels, then you can facilitate that and actually be successful bringing these people over your direct channel, right?
In fact, all those hotels, we saw that all the hotels that kept campaigns on meta search alive during the pandemic, even if they were closed, now they are stronger in terms of starting a new direct sales strategy, because they were visible and they kept their visibility during the pandemic. So they are now with more chances to get direct sales increase, right?
Could you make that point one more time? Because I think this is a super important point. Because so many hoteliers went into cocoon mode and were, okay, I have to wait this out. I cannot spend money. I cannot be anywhere in marketing, right? But the point you just make is so important, because they kept their visibility. But how?
Well, they have tools like, for example, Google Hotel Ads. They can, of course, those who have money, resources, could work based on CPC models, but those who haven't that budget, I mean, there are other tools like Google Hotel Ads in CPA model, commission per stay. So you would need just to find an integration partner that help you with the integration, to be integrated with the Google Hotel Ad platform, and then just connect in commission per stay model, where you just pay a commission based on real stays. So of course, during the pandemic, maybe you don't have those stays, but you have the visibility. So that is the important issue, to be visible at that time, and then you can profit from the visibility later. I mean, having new bookings later.
Completely right. During our preparation call, some of you brought up the quote, it's not important to be seen, but to be found. Yeah. Who was it from you? No, you can explain that one.
Not from me. It was actually from our digital marketing director. He always says that phrase, and I think it's very important when defining a digital marketing strategy. You need to be found, not to be seen, and that is why you need to first align the distribution channel. I mean, you need to have a good price, the better price in your website, the last available room, so you're going to be found with digital marketing strategy. If not, it's going to be worthless.
Because it's about relevance, right? I can always be seen, I can be loud in the market, I can be spending budget just to be on a top position, but if I don't have a good product, if I don't have a good offer, if it's not relevant for that guest at that time, it doesn't matter, right? And that's why I think it's a really cool approach.
It sounds pretty basic, but it's so important. Even with large chains, we see that problem, and they need help with that. So that is why important.
Yeah, and I think there's one part to it, the importance of online presence. I think everybody underestimated how important to be online, how important to keep the information you have about your property online. And then when COVID hit, everybody who had the amenities selected, users were very easily, they could just filter which properties have free cancellations, which properties are clean and safe. Yeah. And then users, they started looking at essentially everything that you have online about your property, and then they would later on go to your website and then make a reservation. And then there was like a little, statistics. Essentially, every second person, or 54% of the users, they're looking at the opening hours of the hotel when they make a search on Google Maps. So this is just to give you a perspective of how much attention people are usually putting into the booking journey when they check the hotel, and how important it is for you to essentially first have all of the information updated on your Google page 1, to have the proper bid coverage, have your rates delivered, and then just make sure that you and your ad is there when the user is ready to make a booking.
But you make a most important point, maintaining visibility, and also if you starting from scratch, for example, what are actually the most basic steps to start increasing visibility? You're working both directly with hotels, Koddi is actually more to be a B2B company. What are, from your point of view or from your company's point of view, the most important steps?
There are the digital marketing campaigns, like branding, be there when a user that already knows you is looking for you in Google, for example. And then is meta search, right? Meta search, it's like a very, it's a great billboard to be there and be at the same stage or level comparing with OTAs. Mm-hmm. So it's a great opportunity to be at the same stage, right? So I would say that the first step is to find a good integration partner, and not to pretend doing everything by themselves, to find the correct partner. I mean, there are very good companies doing and that can help hoteliers in this journey. It's not easy. It's not something like just plug and play. Technology is, you need to have a strategy behind. There are a lot of, for example, bid multipliers that could be very useful for the strategy, but it's important how to use it. And of course, I would say that the first step is to look for an integration partner and a technology company that help you with that.
And I think that's why we're talking about meta search so much now, because when you normally in a digital marketing use just Google Ads, you have no chance against the OTA, right? Or you have high bids to actually do that. Meta search is a little bit like leveling the play field. So you can bid with the OTAs in the same auction, and you can be listed, and you can be found, and people can come to your website. And I think if you understand that first, and you understand the importance it has that you are in meta search and you are listed, and you are visible, then already most is done. And then you shouldn't go like super deep straight away and like super crazy deep dive, 60,000 bid multipliers, but then you maybe start with a commission model, right? Get into it, increase your visibility, understand the data, what is your distribution cost, how does it differ from OTAs, are people coming back? Like there's a lot of things where I think you all can also help to contextualize that. And once it makes sense, like you have your trusted suppliers, right? They will tell you, hey, it makes sense to do X or Y or Z, but like get slowly into it, maybe a little bit higher risk, maybe lower risk, like depends a little bit also on your risk profile.
And if you don't have enough budget, it's important that the hotels know that they have other ways. It's CPA model as a first step, and then we are going to lead you and help you to have a better strategy in CPC models, which require previous investment, and then we can use like platform like Koddi's platform to optimize this budget and increase like the potential.
Artem, maybe one question, or just jump in and I'll take the question at the end, no problem, just jump in.
No, I was just like, but for what you said, I think there's a lot of it requires a lot of a lot of resources from a tech perspective, and then I think taking everything for individual hotel might be like a very heavy lifting. And so you have the connectivity partners that will help you get your rates delivered. So because the meta search as it is, users, they already know the hotel that they are looking for. And so if you have an ad, just a paid ad, which is not a meta search ad, technically a user needs to click on your ad, go to your website, figure out the price and say, I don't really want to book it. On meta search, you see an ad, you see your rate, you see the price, and if there is a click, so the user is very close to booking.
That's right. You're very far already in the whole booking process.
Exactly.
You're not in exploration anymore, but like you're there, right? Let's get them.
Yeah.
In the preparation, you mentioned something like diversification of channels. Please explain this to us and to the audience.
Yeah, for sure. So I think another perspective that you want to look at is it's always a question of budget, especially if it's a marketing budget. If it's a budget that you don't see, you cannot touch it, you don't understand why do you have to pay for CPC. And then a lot of issues that a lot of little hotels are facing, that they're going through the budget and they don't see the returns. And this makes them feel, well, I just go to OTA. I'm happy to pay 20, 30% of my booking and just make sure that I have the return that I need. And then the channel diversification, it essentially means that you can look at the specific market, you can look at the area, what market is, and you need to understand where the demand is, where the users are. So they can be using a lot of meta search publishers, they can be using Google, they can be using TripAdvisor, they can be using Trivago, they can be using Bing. And I think the portfolio diversification as it is means that you become less dependent on one source of income, and then if performance on one channel is going down, there's always an uplift from a different channel, there's a different publisher where users are behaving differently. So it could be easily that users on Google are likely to book shorter night stays. Yeah. They book 1, maybe 2 nights. But users on TripAdvisor, they might be looking more of a research phase where they want to book something for 3, 4, 5 nights. And then the revenue per booking that you will see on different channel will be then different. So I think that's part on the channel diversification, how we see this.
And
okay.
Sorry. Also, this point is important. I think it's very important because there are some clients, for example, that always say, okay, I don't want to invest in Trivago because just Google brings volume of bookings, right? But if they stop campaigns in Trivago, then decrease sales through Google Hotel Ads decrease because it get more visibility. I mean, it's something. I mean, during the journey of the booking, the booking journey, the customer is like jumping into one meta to another, right? So they use different channels. So maybe they find you in Trivago, although they finish the booking in Google Hotel Ads. So it's important also to take this into account.
But this is, of course, the struggle I think everybody in marketing has, but especially in hotel marketing, that you want to understand this one booking, where did it come from, right? And I think this is the struggle, and that's why you have to contextualize what does it actually mean, right? If you just look at this one channel, then yes, maybe I'm spending 6% of my distribution cost over Google Hotel Ads, maybe it's 18% over TripAdvisor. But together, they actually boost my direct channel, right? In the same way that maybe like conversion messaging has not touched this one particular person, but lifts your overall conversion rate. So I think a lot of your teams do, what my teams do, is exactly that education. Like, how do you understand the variety of ways people can book, interact, come from, understand your value, convert, come back again. So I think this is why we're here, right? We're not just here to sell tech and get you on meta, so Google can grow, but it's of course important for us to educate hoteliers on these kind of new and exciting things to actually really put a dent in for their own direct channel.
How important, from your point of view, and also you from the data point of view, data-driven point of view, is it to have not only a diversification in the channels, but also in the market you talk to or your hotels cater to?
No, absolutely. I think from what we see in the data is that there is a different presence of every publisher depending on the area and the location where we look at. I think TripAdvisor and Trivago, their market share is different across different markets within the Europe itself. And so depending on if you're a small hotel chain and you have the majority of your properties located in Germany, or maybe it's in Netherlands, maybe it's in France, I think you need to look and cross-check where the demand is, where the majority of bookings are coming from. And then I think after you're gonna go and you see where the industry is, we can give you strategic recommendation in terms of the investment, in terms of the booking volume that you're able to drive for each individual market on each channel. And then you can cross-check that to the level of the return that we see properties within the certain region are driving. And I think that kind of helps small hotel chains just to understand from the revenue management perspective how much money and how much is it worth for them to go for direct bookings and then build the brand awareness that essentially direct bookings are about, or would they rather stay and kind of be dependent on the OTAs? And then, you know, maybe when the crisis comes, OTAs are there to help them while they cannot maintain the visibility in direct.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can talk a lot about data and the crazy data streams you need and how complex it all is. But you don't need 15 pieces of tech to go into your Google Analytics, open your e-commerce, and actually look where the bookings come from, right? And then you have already 60%, 70% done of all that what you're just saying to actually get started in the right markets, in the right segments, on the right devices to be visible.
Absolutely.
One last question. What are your predictions in terms of direct sales? How will this develop in the future? Especially, we see a lot of change in demand for our different markets. We see a lot of different travel behaviors all over the world because, for example, a lot of people in Germany actually now stayed in Germany. There's so much international tourism. What do you think are the next steps? What is the future of direct sales for either the hotels direct or from you as a B2B company? Who wants to go first?
Well, I think, of course, everything is changing. Demand is changing, so it's very tied to what Artem was saying. Every hotel needs to identify where their clients come from and just adapt the strategy to this new demand. And there are two ways of preparing in the digital marketing strategy from our side, from our point of view. And is one thing is the capturing the existing demand, which is competitive, very trying to bring the clients that already know our hotels instead of booking in other intermediaries or third parties, trying to lead them to book into our website, okay? And this is where meta search can help us a lot, or digital marketing campaigns like brand campaigns, brand protection campaigns. And the other thing is a new demand strategy, trying to reach new demand and bring new demand to the hotel. In these cases, we need to focus more on brand awareness or engagement, and there is a lot. Of course, the cost is going to be very higher comparing to existing demand, but it could make sense to invest there because they can reach this new demand and be stronger in terms of capturing this new demand, right?
André.
Yeah, I think this story got repeated over and over today, but things are changing. But what does it really mean? It means hoteliers like you have never been in this position in the digital selling that you have so much control for yourself again. This is the opportunity now to really invest more in the direct channel until this short period, maybe half a year is over, where this guest behavior is changing. All different providers are bringing their different pieces again into play. So it's quite wobbly right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. So every hotelier who now makes a step forward to actually say, hey, I want to focus on my direct channel. I have this opportunity to really focus on that and create the biggest part of my digital strategy on that. You have to do it. It's not like you should or you can, but if you don't do it now, then we will have a different scenario in half a year again.
Right. Artem. Last but not least.
I know it's I think it's everything that was said was kind of spot on. We hear the companies there are connectivity providers, there are technology partners that can help you drive direct bookings. And I think if we look at the future, we're getting more and more into automation. We're getting into the world where there's algorithms that will predict, where there's algorithms that will adjust and shift your money into the channels where we see the demand is. And as a human being, it's just not possible for us to kind of adjust, look and review the data every day and day, because there's many other things that we would rather do. And then for us as a tech provider working with the hotels, we're investing into improving our technology, making it as smooth and as seamless as we can with the little input that we have as in budget and the return goal that we want to hit. Then the algorithm and then the tech stack that we deploy will take care of managing your budget at the most effective and cost-efficient way. And I don't think that we're going back to any manual optimizations or manual bidding in the future.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Estefania, André, Artem, thank you very much for the talk.